This is day one of me documenting everything that I do in a day. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because a lot of fitness influencers or a lot of celebrities talk about their exercise regimes and their dieting and how strict they are with whatever it is that they do. But I feel as though they vastly exaggerate what they do and they're not as strict as what they make out. Not only that, but a lot of these people advocate, whether they're male or female, that they're natural, that they don't use any enhancing drugs. But majority of the time they do. Now, I'm not talking about supplements like protein powders or other things that are natural, like pre workouts or creatine. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about peptides or SARMs or steroids, anabolics, that type of thing. Even people that appear to be natural, they're also on gear. It's really hard to determine those types of individuals that are natural and that are not natural. There are certain giveaways like gynecomastia, for example, or shoulders. You can generally see that the shoulder development is massive in people that are on steroids, for example, and there's a reason behind that. But when people look at me, they also assume that I'm on some sort of enhancing drugs, to which I have basically not changed since I was about 16 years old. That's when my growth spurt hit. I ended up growing up to 184 centimeters, and I also gained the mass of about 94 kgs. I am basically the same now. If anything, I've only over time been able to replace more muscle mass and brought down the fat mass to a lower percentage. But essentially, I'm basically the same. That's been built up over 20 plus years. Whereas everyone just thinks that I've developed this physique in, say, a year or so. But I want to show people that even though I look the way that I do, people would assume that I'm in the gym all the time and that I eat well most of the time. But I don't. I eat terribly 80% of the time. And I also train very minimally. I think last year I trained, say, 15 times I went to the gym. It wasn't that often at all. I think since the beginning of this month, I've only gone into the gym maybe 10 times, and it is now the 1st of February. So I figured if I show people my daily routines, then they can get a better grasp at what they see online might not necessarily reflect what people are actually doing and saying in real life. Not only that, it also sheds light as to what people could probably get away with when it comes to somebody that's doing something natural. Having said that, there are a lot of things that I have done throughout my life to be able to get away with a lot of the things that I do, and that's not necessarily what people do in their everyday life. There is also the fact that people will probably bring it down to genetics and all that kind of stuff. I feel as though we're all pretty much roughly around the same ballpark. I mean, yes, there might be some of us that might have some sort of genetic advances, or advantages in comparison to others, but I don't think the discrepancy will be that high. I feel as though we're all roughly in the same area as each other. So it's going to be an interesting sort of way of documenting life, but I'm just hoping that it'll kind of bring more of a realistic approach to people's perspective on what training and dieting is like for, or can be for, normal people rather than being so obsessed with it. And hopefully somebody learns something about it. So I'll give more information as time goes on, but yeah, it's going to be a hopefully an eye-opening one for everybody else, and people may just get a better understanding for how, say, the human body might work, or how little you can actually do and get away with if you, I guess, follow the right steps. But I don't know, we'll see. It's all an experiment at the end of the day, but I hope whoever follows enjoys. I came up with this idea a little bit later on in the day, so I figured I'd start recording once I had finished work. Fortunately, or unfortunately for me, I ended up finishing work early. It was roughly 10:30 a.m. at this point, so on my way home, I was just having a little sing-along. I obviously didn't record what I had done in the morning, but I woke up at 4:45 a.m., ate 250 grams of brown rice, 3 eggs, brushed my teeth, washed my face, and then I went to work. Once I got home, I laid around on the floor as I usually do for about a half an hour. then decided to go out in the blistering heat to get some snacks. On my journey, I ended up bumping into a friend and her daughter. I hung out with them for about an hour, and then I resumed snack hunting. I wasn't in a snack mood. I typically get a lot more than this, but I was happy with what I got. Sun. Disgusting. Now this is what I do more often than not. Snacks, anime, chilling. No training. Not long after, I had fallen asleep. A couple hours later, I ended up waking up for my nap. And, as you may have guessed, resumed anime watching. A couple hours later, I transferred myself to my bed and resumed watching anime. I went to the mirror to see how sloppy my physique is, non-flexed and flexed. I haven't trained in over a week and I snack multiple times every single day. Multiple crisps, multiple cookies, cakes, ice creams, everything you can think of, you name it. Gluten-free and dairy-free though. Onto the kitchen, 250 grams of brown rice, fat, and 5 eggs. Add a pinch of salt to the rice, add your eggs, and voila. Now, onto eating and podcasts. Once my meal was done, I showered and I got on to brushing my teeth. Flossing. Brushing. Tongue scraping. Tongue brushing. And Listerine. Deodorant. Then bang! Back into bed for more podcasts until I fall asleep. At the end of the day, these were my macros.